everybody. I'm here for another episode of I Have Opinions. of course, it's about Power Book 2 Goes. Just finished watching the episode. This episode was pretty good. Um, for starters, light skinned Keisha, Big Bank Bisha. This was like her little acting debut, and she did pretty good. She didn't have like a major part. She just played a student in Tariq's canonical studies class, and she went off on the white girl in the class, went off on the dude in the class. And first of all the names they could have gave her, why did they give this child? Why was her name Bruce Andrea? And she had to explain to the guy that her name is her parents' names combined. She said Bruce and Chandria. I'm like, wow. Just wow. Okay, but this was a good episode. So pretty much this was the episode where they finally had Ghost's funeral, and at first Davis wanted Tariq to badmouth Ghost, and then they were trying to figure out who was gonna speak on his behalf or whatever. And in the midst of all of this happening, Tariq is hanging out with Zeke, and he wants to go to Zeke's aunt's house, and he gets there for the family dinner, and their uncle walks in, and clearly he's somebody who just got out of jail. They're surprised that he got out of jail. So when Kane took Tariq home, Kane is like, "Listen, I don't know you, and I don't know what you trying to pull, but it's not gonna happen." And Tariq is like, "Pump your brakes. Not scared of you. Just want to let you know your uncle's a snitch. We in the same boat. I can help you and your family however I can or whatever. I don't want your family to get hurt. Whatever, whatever." So King kind of was taken aback by Tariq or whatever, and because Kane is he's the tough cookie or whatever. He's the one that shoots first and asks questions. Like, well, don't seem like he asks questions. He just be shooting. Because we only on episode 2, and this is the second person he done killed. So, yeah, like now Tariq is piquing everybody's interest in the family, as to what kind of person he is or whatever, and then also, the professor and his canonical studies professor and the counselor, like they're trying to. The counselor, it seems like she's trying to help Tariq, but she's a little bit too pushy because she wants Tariq to open up about how he feels about his father's murder. I mean, if you knew the truth, Tariq doesn't really. I don't really think Tariq feels any type of remorse about his father, or he doesn't know how to collect those feelings and say exactly how he feels or whatever. But it's a lot, and it's like all like the whole case or whatever with Ghost is the case with Tasha is high profile because Ghost was going to be lieutenant governor or whatever, and then him running for lieutenant governor, him being murdered, all of this stuff is high profile and all on the news or whatever. So naturally, it's a media frenzy. Tariq already has all eyes on him right now, and y'all are just you like, well, he needs to push through his feelings, or if he don't want to talk about it, which I've learned in like therapy and all of that. If people don't want to reveal their like feelings, and you have to work with them, you have to work at their pace. You can't sit up here and try to force people to um say how they're feeling or whatever. They might not be ready or whatever. And it just seemed like the counselor kept forcing it. And then naturally, there's something going on with the counselor and the professor. They're messing around. So it's like they little tit for tat thing they got going on is interfering with them both helping Tariq, because it's like he he's not really taking a liking to Tariq like that. Like he has a problem with the fact that Tariq hasn't read the books. But at the same time, the counselor is empathetic, and she's like, "Listen, he's going through a lot. His father just died. He has a lot of family stuff. Father just died. Mother's in jail. He's in school and trying to do all of this and keep his family in one piece. He's going through a lot." And it's like the professor doesn't care, and the reason why he doesn't care is because he's resentful towards her or whatever for whatever like relationship, whatever type of relationship they got. All I know is they eventually ended up having sex in the office. Whatever. So back to the Tejada family or whatever. Monet is with a cop or whatever, and he's saying that he pretty much is telling her that he wants to be with her, and she's like, "Well, I can't be with you or whatever." He's like, "Why are you still holding on to dude on the inside when he can't offer you nothing?" And she's like, "Listen, his name in these streets offer me protection. What can you give me? If you can't give me protection, we ain't got nothing to talk about." So which is true. If people's names ring bells in the streets or whatever, and people have a mutual respect for said person, they're gonna protect the families and all of that at all costs. But it seems like a little bit of this episode got us to like learn a little bit more about the Tejada family. Of course, as the season goes on, we're gonna continuously learn more about Mary J's character or whatever. But so far, I like her character. I like her character. I like the Tejada family. Period. Like Woody McClain is playing the hell out of this role, and usually Woody McClain is not the bad. Well, I wouldn't know because Woody McClain is always playing Bobby Brown. But Woody McClain is playing the hell out of this role, okay? So, and speaking of which, he went to the bar where his uncle was, after Tariq telling him that he's a snitch, da 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 da. So he went back home. Him and his sister is talking about it or whatever. And I think even she figured out, well, no, Monet figured that he was a snitch or whatever. And she was like, well, who do you think that he snitched on? And she's like, does it matter? It doesn't matter who he snitched on. That's what he did. If he was in jail for however long and your father didn't know, what does that tell you? Snitches usually have to lay low after they're let out, which is true. So he Kane comes in and is like, yeah, Tariq is smart or whatever, but he did say that Uncle Frank is a snitch or whatever. So I guess, she was like, well, Kane is going to handle it. Kane handled it. He knocked. I think somebody in the bar knocked the man unconscious. Kane came in, took him to the back, shot him like numerous times. Then they started chopping his body up and putting him in these barrels, and I'm just sitting here watching the damn scene like, bro. And then they took the barrels and did whatever with them. My mind was just blown because I'm like, this is some Italian mob type stuff. Like, y'all really just don't care. See, me, I don't have the balls to be a killer, okay? Because my conscience is very ghetto. And if I even try to go pew pew to anybody, first of all, my conscience is going to be like, now, girl, you know, you're going to have nightmares about this later. So don't be shooting people. And maybe I could talk about this, like probably not that exact dialogue, but I have a very ghetto conscience, and my conscience will tell me, listen, okay, listen, sis, that's wrong. That's not pow pow, so but I'm just watching the scene and I'm like, he just chopping dude up. They took a foot, put it in a barrel, and then somebody came, picked up barrels of his body, and I'm just like, this is definitely some, Scarface, Godfather, casino type stuff. So then he's riding home and he sees the cop go into his house or whatever, and the same cop that was with Monet dropped off the papers proving that Frank was a snitch. And she's like, well, what is this going to do for me now? If he's missing, anybody could have got him, not knowing that Kane got him already. So she's like, you talking about what can you offer me more than what Lorenzo offers me? And I told you protection, and you not protecting me. And he's like, well, what do you want me to do? She's like, I want all the information you have on a kid named Tariq. So she's gonna dig deeper into the St. Patrick's and what they're doing or whatever, which I think it could be a good or a bad thing. And I feel like Tariq, I don't know, Tariq probably would have to tread lightly. One or two things could happen with him being in cahoots with the Tejada family. He could either wrong them and end up being one of the victims, or he could, they could take him in and he could come, like, they could be like a part of his comeuppance or something like that, since Tariq is so hell bent on being, you know, in the drug game or whatever. He doesn't have to do it, but it's something. Well, now he kind of has to because it's something he kind of thrusted into. But before he didn't have to do it, and the fact that Kanan got in his head or whatever, that's why he feels like he needs to be not a drug lord, but dibble and dabble in it here and there, or whatever. But yeah, the funeral scene was weird because you had all of these people coming up to Tariq or whatever. And the thing that pissed me off the most is, why was Tate there? Why was Tate there? Why was he a pallbearer? We all know Tate couldn't stand ghosts. He could not stand ghosts. Even when he went to go greet Tasha, Tasha looked at him like, I wish you would. And then, first of all, Tasha came there dressed like a bad bitch widow. She looked good, but they was acting, treating her like an inmate, telling her she couldn't talk or whatever because she was gonna do the speech at the funeral. She was gonna deliver the eulogy rather. They was telling her to do it. Then they told her that she couldn't do it, I guess because they figured she lied or whatever, and she's still a prisoner or whatever. So then, this is when Tariq wasn't sure if he was going to do it. So they were like, well, Sax came, and Sax was pretty much trying to throw a wrench in the whole thing. And he's like, well, we do need somebody to talk. Tate, why don't you do it? And Tate was like, oh, why not? That would have been the perfect opportunity for Tate to talk a whole bunch of crap about ghosts. And then Tariq interjected and was like, no, I'll do it. I don't know what I'm going to say, but I'll do it. And my thing is, here it is, we on the second part of Power. And Sax still has a hard on for Ghost. And it's like, at this point, give it up. You were outsmarted numerous times, but you keep going. And it's like, the more you try, the more, like, I feel knee deep you getting yourself in shit, pretty much. And even when they had brought in Jenny Sullivan and they were speaking to her about the trial and everything and like asking her questions, and then Sax brought in Blanca Rodriguez, and Blanca was around for all of, like, everything that was going on. Remember her from the first Power or whatever, because she was trying to help take down Ghost and Tommy, but with everything that happened, that went left. So, but Blanca knows the type of calculated person that Sax is. So Sax is sitting up here asking her questions to try and pin this whole queen pin statue on Tasha, when he knows that she was not the one that was calling the shots. Granted, Tasha's not innocent. Tasha did get her hands dirty or whatever in the whole organization with Tommy and Ghost. But Tasha was part of the situation. Tasha wasn't the full-on brains behind the operation. So he tried to bring up the Terry Silver thing, talking about, Tasha ordered the hit against Terry Silver. Tasha didn't order no hit against Terry Silver. Tasha was in love with Terry Silver. Ghost didn't like that, and he knew that Terry Silver, I think, was key in one of the cases of testifying. So before Terry could go and testify and all of that, after he saw that him and Tasha was messing around, he went and killed Terry. So it's like, why would Tasha order for Terry to be murdered? She was in love with that man. And that was part of the reason why her and Ghost had the beef that they had, because he knew that she loved him. And it's like, any person that Tasha got with, it was an issue. So Sax is annoying. He's so annoying. Even Blanca said it. She was like, Tasha wasn't innocent, but Sax is trash, and you'll see it soon. So, Blanca said what she said there, and, Davis was like, listen, I think Blanca has more to say. And she's like, listen, she can say whatever she got to say when she's, in court. We're not going to finish this now. We have enough evidence here to prove that, this is a federal thing now. And pretty much it worked out in Sax's favor like he wanted it to. because he's fiending. But I have a feeling it's going to turn around because Sax is. I feel like Sax be steps ahead, but the St. Patrick's are always further ahead than he is. Like every time Sax think he got it, they knock him off or whatever. But yeah, like I just this was a good episode. Like it was good. It dragged a little bit for me, but it was a good episode. It was kind of funny too, but it was a good episode. Like I enjoyed watching it. I'm just trying to see how, the episodes are gonna play out. What's gonna happen? Like, oh, also Tasha saw that the guard was with an inmate, and the inmate, this is the same guard that was making fun of her or whatever about her being in jail or whatever. The guard was like kind of in cahoots with the inmate. Not the guard, the CO was kind of like in cahoots with the inmate, and the inmate was like, I need a morning after pill or whatever. And she like, well, damn, who dick you riding in here? And she's like, don't worry about all that. Give me a morning after pill in 56, and within 56 hours or whatever. So I guess, her and the guard got some little thing, but I keep calling her a damn guard. She's a correction officer. But a lot of COs and all of them that work on the inside in prisons be very sketchy. They do a lot of underhanded things that they're not supposed to do with these people in prison. But that's how a lot of these people be, money. Money talks and bullshit walks. Excuse me. So, yeah, at the funeral, Tasha said to Tariq real quick, I need currency. I need a morning after pill or whatever. Tariq took care of it and was able to get, he spoke to Diana because Diana came and asked him or whatever about trying to just get somebody on the inside to help Tasha. And Diana's father, Lorenzo Tejada, his name rings bells, so somehow he was able to get Tasha the morning after pill plus a phone in the book that he's reading in school. So she found the book, called him, and was like, yo, how are you paying Davis? Because I hope it's not you selling drugs or whatever. And he's like, no, like I have connections or whatever. She still doesn't know that he's dealing with not dealing with the Tejada family, but he's affiliated with them in a sense, So that's how she was able to get the morning after, because she could get it for the inmate, and she got contraband. But Tasha is smart. Tasha gonna figure her way out. She gonna figure it out while she's in jail. But that was the episode. That was the second episode, and so far I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying book 2. I just want to know, because it's called Power Book 2 Ghost. I just want to know, like, what are they gonna do as the season go on? Because if it's about Ghost and Ghost is dead, I think at some point they're supposed to dig into his past or whatever. But how is that gonna intertwine with what's going on with Tariq? We'll see. We'll see. Because Power has some good writers. Power has good writers. But yeah, y'all let me know how y'all feel. This was I Have Opinions. Yes, I will be singing it like that. But y'all let me know how y'all felt about this episode. I thought it was a really good episode. Kudos to you, light skin Teesha. Keep doing what you do, boo boo. And please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and tell a friend. Tell a friend. Tell a friend about Teesha on the Tube. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Have a fabulous rest of your weekend.